What's going on, everybody? Hope you are all safe with your loved ones, in good health, in good spirits. We're all dealing with something that I don't think any of us expected or have ever experienced before. I just want to say that in the recent days, it's been so inspiring and so encouraging to see so many of my Asian brothers and sisters using their platforms, many that are even larger than mine, to speak out about what's going on. And I want to share a quick story about when I was about 9 or 10 years old. This was my first time probably in my recollection dealing with discrimination in that way. I was going to the gas station with my dad, and, as usual, he sends me to the register and says, go give the guy the money and come back. So I go up to the window, the counter. I'm like, $10 on pump 3. And as I'm walking away, he basically says something along the lines of, ching chong, right, to me, and he starts laughing. And it's funny because as a 9-year-old, I don't think I realized what was happening, but I knew that it made me feel a certain way. And I guess this was visible on my face because as I get back to the car, my pops is like, what happened? So I tell him, oh, the guy just said this and that. And caught me off guard because my pops, he storms over there and he's like, what's wrong with you? Why would you say that to a kid? And shocked me because, it's my first time seeing my dad really kind of like aggressive like that with people. And here I am now as a father myself. And not too long ago, we're watching a new little clip on my phone, and it is the president talking about the current status, and he says, we will overcome and defeat this Chinese virus. And just like that, my 7-year-old looks up at me and he's like, why do you have to call it the Chinese virus? That's, I'm Chinese. That's not my fault. And I looked at his face and I could tell he was frustrated. I could tell he was discouraged, and it made me think back to when I was a kid, right? And it just shows you that these type of moments and these type of things that people that have never experienced it, they might not get it, but it sticks with you. So I just want to say that this could easily divide us, this moment, this situation. And I respect everybody's opinions, everybody's theories, but what I can't accept and what really breaks my heart is seeing how a moment when we should be united, we're actually falling apart. The virus is the virus. We can't control, we can't control what happens with that in terms of from a medical standpoint, but we can't control how we respond to it as people. So I know a lot of non-Asians are saying, well, where were the Asians when this was happening, when that was happening? How come they didn't, they didn't have complaints? Well, I think to me, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. We haven't always had a platform. We haven't always had a voice. It's awesome to say that in the last few years, we're more visible in all areas, politics, media, sports. But I think even non-Asians will agree there's still a long way to go. But it's cool to see that there's breakthrough. And I even remember when I was younger, 20-something-year-old me, I didn't really think of it as, I'm going to be the voice for my people. But, I felt compelled to say stuff, right? So when I remember Rosie O'Donnell is on TV on her show with millions and millions of people watching, just going, ching chong, ching chong, ching chong. I made a Rosie O'Donnell diss record, right? When Hot 97, shout out to Hot 97. I grew up loving Hot 97. I still listen to the morning show now, right? Ebro, and just still appreciative of what they represent and bring to the table as a platform. But when they did the tsunami song, just making fun of the tragedy and all the Asians that got caught up in that passed away, I was like, well, dissing Hot 97 too, right? And even getting banned from the station. I mean, I never got a letter about it, but I'm pretty sure they weren't really like, oh yeah, come on down, Jin. But my point is, younger me, 20-something-year-old me might have felt like, it is my duty and I feel compelled to speak about it. And in that case, it was diss records. But here I am now. I don't think diss records are the way to go. I think everybody has a right to respond the way they feel compelled to. But for me, I think it's not about responding to something negative with something negative. So on top of that, like right now, it's one thing for people to say, oh, Kung flu, Ching Chong virus, stop eating dogs, stop eating rats, stop eating cats, right? Those are words, yeah. But when you have people that are actually getting attacked just out at the supermarket, elderly people just getting attacked outside of the house, walking down the block, and it's evident, right, that people are doing this because they're Asian. Cameras are rolling. I'm not making this up. You guys see it. When the actual camera's rolling and it says, I hate Asians, that breaks my heart. And I want to challenge, my Asian brothers and sisters too, like, I think this is a moment for us all to see that, for us to be part of this and for us to be kind of respected in that way, we have to be able to reciprocate that too, right? So when we look at all the different things happening, that we call injustices and discrimination, the more platforms and the more voices we have, we definitely should speak up, right? Even if it's not just for Asian Americans. I don't care if that's the Black, Latino, even whites. Because my point that I want to make in all of this right now is not Asians versus Blacks. It's not Asians versus Hispanics. It's not Asian versus white. It's not any color versus any color. It's simply just humanity and kindness and compassion versus evil, the opposite of what we should be, right? I was hoping to keep this 2.5 minutes, but it is what it is. I just wanted to end this with, I'm so inspired. I'm so encouraged to know that my kids, my 2 Asian American, Chinese American kids, my boys will grow up and continue to grow up in a place where there are, people speaking out for them and on behalf of them. And I just want to say I also appreciate all of the non-Asians that have been vocal in these past few weeks and few days, just using their platforms, whether it's celebrities, right? Like Cardi B, Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk. If the Hulk tells you that you're out of line, you're out of line, right? Governors, politicians, governors from different countries. But if there's one that I think really says something, is the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Bernice King, Mrs. Bernice King, who's vocal. And I think it's amazing to see that her voice still resonates what her father's message was. And one of my favorite Martin Luther King Jr. quotes, hate can't drive out hate. Only love can drive out hate. Darkness can only be driven out by light. So I encourage you all to be light for each other, to each other, and we will all come out of this better. I pray and hope and do believe so. So, on that note, God bless y'all. Take care.